All right, so Your Choice started in 2009. They are an organization that is interested in preventing substance abuse. So I've had a little bit of time to talk to Katie and Sandy. I'm going to let them introduce themselves and their work as they go forward this morning. There are some papers on the table. I know they're going to say something about them as well. There is some information on the table about them. There's also a seminar survey that they would greatly appreciate that you fill out. There will be a basket on the table as you leave with their information and an opportunity for you to give them that feedback. Please do that, all right? We would appreciate it. Katie, Sandy?
Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Well, good morning. Boy, this is bright and early. Not used to this, but anyway, thank you so much to the Chambers for allowing us to come and spend an hour with you to share some information and some knowledge. So once again, my name is Sandy Liebert. I am the founder of Your Choice, which is a nonprofit organization. But most importantly, where my passion comes from is I am a mother of a recovering heroin addict. My son, I am so thankful to say this, will be 10 years in recovery March 6th. Yes, so thank you, yes. But I have to be totally honest with you. I never thought that it would impact our family. Talk about drugs and alcohol, no. Happily married, right? 2 kids. Never did I think that drugs and alcohol would enter our household. It did. It almost destroyed every single one of our lives. We are the fortunate one that we do have our son in recovery, whereas a lot of parents today are losing their loved ones. A lot of families are losing their loved ones due to this epidemic. So I remember when Tyler was in treatment the last time, and my husband and I were sitting at the kitchen table, and my husband said, Sandy, I got the answer to this. We're going to go after every single one of the drug dealers, and that's going to solve the problem. And I remember looking at him saying, that's not going to solve the problem. Why don't we go after the demand? Let's go after preventing before they even start. Because once you go down that path, I can't tell you where that path is going to lead. So let's catch beforehand. I also know as a parent, I did not know a lot of the signs. I always look back and wonder, if I had seen or known some of the signs what to look for, could we have changed our path, our direction? I don't know that, but I know that my passion and Katie Westerman's passion is to provide knowledge to communities, to parents, grandparents, teachers, everything. And that is where today is going to be. We have actual items that I want you to think about, and we have signs and symptoms to look for. So just very briefly on this is Katie Westerman. You can tell I'm not used to running by PowerPoint.
Good morning. I've been working with Sandy for probably the last, we met probably right around 2009. I was actually working in the school district. So I come from a school background, working as a school counselor. One of the things that we were looking for is we needed some more parent education. We just needed more awareness on this and more information so parents could be aware of what's going on in their kids' lives and just the different changes and like social media and all the different pressures. So I began working with Sandy to develop educational programs that would target specifically parents, grandparents, community members, educators. And so we developed a series of programs aimed at prevention and education. And since the last probably 4 years, we've been presenting these programs throughout the state of Wisconsin, Illinois, and Indiana because the demand has been that great. We started out with our Stairway to Heroin program, which is basically an awareness piece. We provide a medical perspective, a treatment perspective, law enforcement perspective, just giving parents some basic information and knowledge about the opioid epidemic that our nation is facing. We also have been doing youth presentations since we began back in 2012. We have 4 very different speakers who provide their stories to students. We work with students 6th grade through 12th grade. We have a program called Playgrounds to Pills, which is targeted at our middle school parents. Those are the parents who are saying, this isn't going to happen to me. I don't have to worry about this. And we're saying, no, you really need this information.
Don't mean to interrupt,
Yeah.
Katie, but I remember the very first time that I spoke at one of these programs that we had created, and I remember a lady came up to me and she goes, Sandy, I don't mean to offend you, but you don't look like a mother of a heroin addict. And I remember turning around, looking at her and saying, I don't mean to offend you, what am I supposed to look like? And that was one of the goals of creating these programs, is to remove that stigma, to remove those boundaries so that people would start talking about it. Because I've got to be honest with you, Tyler is almost 10 years clean. 15 years ago, we were not talking about drugs and alcohol. We were so alone, so scared, so overwhelmed, we didn't know where to go. And I've got to be honest, my personal passion is to make sure that no other family feels that way. Sorry, Katie.
That's fine. And my personal passion is that we get parents the information that they need, so that they have that, they're equipped with that, they know where to go, they know what to do. Like Sandy always says, knowledge is power. One of our most prolific programs is our Wake Up Call program, which you're gonna get a snapshot of that today, and that's what we're presenting to you, is our Wake Up Call. We have been doing this in schools. We do it auditorium style. We actually have, well, we just moved to Oconomowoc, but we did at our old location, and we're planning on putting up our new location. We had a permanent exhibit of a bedroom, so we can do private tours and public tours. But mostly we've been doing these in schools and communities, auditorium style. We also do a professional development, which is directed for teachers, educators, coaches. We also do our lunch and learns, which is directed at businesses. And we can come in, we can do a breakfast, we can do lunchtime, where we do our little wake-up call presentation. And we have been doing that for probably the past year, and that has been really effective. We can come into your place of business. We spend about an hour presenting our information and giving you the resources that you need. So that has been effective, that we've been doing. So those are just a snapshot of some of the programs, and we have our literature is on the table as you walk out. If you want more information on that, we have our brochure, which tells a little bit more in detail of those programs. I'm going to turn it back over to Sandy.
All right, so I am used to a lavalier following me, and I'm one that moves around a lot, so I'm going to try and come back here. Every item that I pick up is going to be projected on the screen for you. We also are going to allot a little bit of time that you can actually feel the items, look at the items afterwards. We do have a big presentation in Kettle Moraine scheduled November 30th that has the actual wake-up call whole presentation. If you are interested in going, we have a flyer. It is free. We also hand out a handbook to every single participant. We were finding that during the presentation, parents were sitting there going, can you hold on a moment? Can you go back? And we thought, well, why don't we just put it all in one booklet for them so everybody can walk out with the knowledge on it. All right, let's get going. So I will try. Tell me to be louder if I need to be louder. So the very first item is my Motrin bottle, okay? Can everybody hear me? Yep. You're good? Is my Motrin bottle. It is a regular looking Motrin bottle. It's got Motrin on the inside, but I purchased this off of Amazon. It is a fake Motrin bottle so that I can hide my marijuana, I can hide my prescription pills, I can hide anything at the very bottom, because you know what? You are not going to even look. One of the biggest things that Tyler said to me in treatment the last time is he said, Mom, nobody ever caught me. I kept getting away with it. I kept getting away with it at schools, police, all of these different places. And that's why we've developed all these programs so we can actually hit all these people so that they know. One of our most, oh, sorry. I can't do this though, because I use my hands. So I'm going to go back. Okay. Sorry. All right. There we go. Better? So I'll just come here and do it. So this is a Motrin bottle. A lot of people say, where do people buy these things? Amazon. Spencer Gifts. It's amazing. Just go on there, Google, where do I hide my drugs and alcohol? It will come up. You can spend hours on picking out what you want. The only thing I'm going to recommend is make sure you don't do that on your work or your school computer, because you could get fired. right? So don't do that. But as a homework, walking out of here, Google it every single month. It keeps changing. We have to keep changing our bedroom or our in services to keep up with what kids are doing. So Motrin bottle? Yeah, thank you. Chapstick. Looks like a chapstick, smells like a chapstick. It is actually a mojo. So what a mojo does is it masks the smell of marijuana. So you inhale, exhale through here, and it smells like orange blossom. So if all of a sudden you're finding that there's a different smell in the bedroom, there's a different smell in the bathroom, there's a different smell in the car, is it because somebody is trying to mask the smell of marijuana? How many of you are parents? Oh my gosh, quite a few. Okay, so any different smell that you're smelling, I always say if your gut is saying something is off, it probably is. Okay, thank you, Kitty. Water bottle, regular looking water bottle, feels like a water bottle, looks like a water bottle. It is not. Oh, it's cold. Hollowed out. Once again, I can hide absolutely whatever I want in here. Could you imagine this on the console of a car? Would you even think to look at something like this? This is how devious and creative our kids or people that are going down that path are. They will do anything to hide, to store, to keep, to outsmart, to whatever. So water bottle. Crazy. When you feel this, you will be absolutely... Are you guys okay? You all right? Everybody's like this. It's my normal reaction. I always sometimes wonder if it's me. Okay. Prescription pills. And I do throw some humor in here because you know what? I have to. Because it's such a serious, sad subject. So prescription pills. We are doing a great job on getting prescription pills off. Most of our officer or our police station have Dropbox. We have national drug take-back days. How many of you count your prescriptions when you get them back from the pharmacy? I have 1, 2. Not because the pharmacist is taking them, but you know what people do? They skim off the top of the prescription, especially if it is a mood-altering prescription. Because you know how Walgreens calls us 5 to 7 days prior? So we really don't keep track. I'm asking you, start counting your pills. Know what's in there. My husband went through major surgery, and he was put on Oxycontin, one of the strong pain medications, and I will never forget this. It was on a Friday. His pain was and he was taking these as directed. His pain was so bad by the Sunday that we actually went to the emergency room. I don't know why I put this in my purse. I'm glad I did. Tyler had taken out all the prescription pills and replaced them with a vitamin that was the same size as the prescription pill. Know what is in there. And ladies, I still haven't figured out a place for men. Ladies, hide it up in your shoe boxes. Don't leave it in a cupboard in your kitchen or in your bathroom. Might not be for your child, but it could be somebody else that's coming into your home searching for these. Right? We speak with a detective that says if you have these unprotected or not hidden, it's like having a loaded gun in your household. That's pretty scary. Tramadol, or pet meds. So I have a beautiful, he just lost weight, so he's 99 pounds, so excited. 10-year-old lab. He was put on tramadol. I did not know that tramadol was an opiate. My son did. Once again, he did the exact same thing. Took out all the tramadol, put a vitamin that actually could have killed my dog. So I'm just saying, please be aware of prescription pills. Look at my highlighters. Okay, so I have a highlighter here. One of the newest crazes that they're doing is they're actually taking the inside of the highlighter out. So I'm gonna get all yellow, but who cares? Great place. It fits, unfortunately, a needle. It fits a cigarette. It fits a joint. It fits a lot of different things in here. Great way to pass it on because nobody's going to think. This one we purchased on Amazon. Looks like it. It's a one-hitter pipe. So how do we get these in school? Would you ever know? Now you're going to be looking at absolutely everything, aren't you? I always say trust but verify. As parents, trust but verify. We've had parents that actually have gone through their children's room, say, I don't know why I am doing this, because I'm not worried about it. They come back the next morning with a bin filled with paraphernalia that they found. Trust but verify. It also is a great deterrent. All these different cans, they're fake. They're hollowed. We purchase them this way. So once again, I can stash my drugs. I can stash whatever I want in here. This is crazy. They're weighted. They feel real. When we went online, Ashley, my daughter, said to me, okay, Mom, she had to give me a limit of what I could spend doing this. I could have spent thousands of dollars showing you all these different items. I could keep you here 3 days, 12 hours a day with everything that is out there. So just like Katie said, this is a snapshot. Red Bull. They have Diet Coke, Sprite, whatever, Monster, energy drinks, anything that our kids or our society is drinking right now, they have. And they're almost identical to the exact or the actual thing. All right. Yeah. Backpacks. Do me a favor. If you are inclined to go through your child's room, as a parent, I remember specifically, I begged my husband not to. When I look back, I said to him, no, Tyler has the right to his privacy. How crazy was that? And the reason why I said that is because I didn't want him to find anything. I didn't want to create any more ruckus in our household. So I took the easy way out. I said, no, don't look. If I can go back and change one thing, they're your children. You have every single right to go through their room. Please do. Go through their room. Go through their backpacks. Go through their cars. So I've got 2 items here. I have cough syrup and I have Visine. Might not seem like a lot, but cough syrup, they robo-trip. We do have some drug fact sheets when you check out on all the different drugs that I'm talking about, but they get drunk from our cough syrup. They get high. It's called robo-tripping. There's a lot of different words that they use. Visine, they use if they've been smoking pot. Gets out the red eyes instantly, right? That's one of the signs that you kind of know if somebody's smoking pot is red eyes. My question to you is if you did not purchase these for your children, that is a red flag. Think about this. What child is going to spend $5.49 on cough syrup when they legitimately have a cough? Hey, I make my husband go get me cough syrup, right? Visine. What child is going to go and spend $2.19 if they have allergies? They're not. So even just seeing little items like this could be a red flag. Now remember, I am not talking about addiction here. I'm even talking about experimentation. Let's say a child comes home with this because Joey, his best friend, said, it's no big deal. Nobody's going to catch you. Well, think about if you are able to find this or you see it. And because you saw this presentation or because you Googled, you can actually go to him and say, I'm a little concerned. You can maybe catch it before it progresses. Let's start being proactive versus reactive as parents. That's why I'm just so thrilled that we are able to speak to you today. All right, I promise these are water bottles. So we get a lot of our information and changing our bedroom we run a high-risk class with youth, so they tell us a lot of what kids are doing currently. Schools will call us and say, you've got to add this into your bedroom or your classroom exhibit or your in-service exhibit. Police officers will call us and say, this is the new current thing, which is pretty awesome that we have all this information. But I was told I had to put these water bottles in. I'm like, why do I have to put these water bottles in? I'll show you. Regular bottle of water, okay? Look at the top. See how flat it is? I have a little bit of vodka. Oops, I hope I don't get in trouble. I just thought of that. Okay, a little bit of vodka. Do you see it's foaming? There's vodka in here. Very simple sign. You can shake it. And if it foams, there's vodka. So some parents will say, well, what about if I see all these bottles of water and I see the Red Bull cans and whatever? What do? I say if you don't see it moved within 12 hours, that would be a red flag. What kid is going to leave a Red Bull not opened? Think about it, right? They're natural, what they naturally do. If it changes, is there something going on? Our kids aren't scared. We get a call from a school, and they said, Sandy, why are we finding mint extract in all of the girls' backpacks. Guess what? This is 89% alcohol. They're drinking it. If you miss it from your bake, I don't bake, so I never had that in mine. But if you bake or you start missing it or you start seeing boxes like this, it's 89% alcohol. So we had an owner of a grocery store came through one of our lunch and learns. She goes, oh my gosh, thank you so much for this information. I'm gonna go back and tell my cashiers that if anybody is under the age and they're buying these extracts, oranges double it, card them. Don't give it to them. So in my way, I walked out feeling like I just did something. I created maybe a child being stopped of getting this. Parents don't know this. So just remember, oranges double it. Guys, still okay? Okay, just making sure. All right. All right, guys, suck it up for a moment. I'm going to talk about tampons. Number one place that females hide their drug use, because who's going to go into feminine hygiene items? They are not. So in the box, they will hide all different things in there. And, even schools, we've had superintendents, we've had principals say, no, I don't ever touch those items. Why should I? This is why. Tampon, it's not. It is a booze tube that I can conveniently put my vodka in. And I can put it where I normally keep my personal hygiene and nobody will know. Is this not crazy? This is how it is sold. 5 fake tampons. Smuggle your booze anywhere. Now, we did this presentation right before Summerfest to a group of adults. I said, I better not be giving you any ideas. Be responsible. So, smuggle your booze anywhere. They are selling these at Claire's. Does anybody know where Claire's is? That's that little jewelry store for young kids. They're selling it there. Please go and make a comment if you go to Claire's and just say, could you please remove that? Carmex. Got another call from a school. Please put Carmex in your room. All right. They busted 2 girls. It is actually a Carmex. They cleaned out the inside of it. I have marijuana in here. It's oregano, Steve. Marijuana in here. You're so cool. Thank you. We've had some police officers, actually, you have what? No, it's oregano. Look at this, very simple. Another girl was caught with actually pills and put some tissue paper on the top so it didn't rattle. This one got me because I would never think to look in a Carmex. We all have one of these, right? Never would I think to look there. Sunscreen. Isn't it sad we're not going to be using this anymore? I'm sorry. I love summer. I absolutely am totally depressed that we're going into the winter season. Sunscreen. If I had this sitting in my backpack, would you even think to look at it? Absolutely not. It is a flask that comes with a funnel, so I can put my alcohol in here. I can close it back up. It is 15 and 30 strength. Comes in 50. They've got it all covered. Listen to this, and I promise it says this. If a security guard is taking the time to read this, run. It says it on the back. Yes. The sad part is schools are telling us that they're finding these flasks on the parents' side of the football games. What are we telling our kids? It's okay to sneak items in. And this is how it is sold. Looks like sunscreen, fill with your own booze, sneak alcohol anywhere. Comes all complete on Amazon. Okay. I'm going to end on one little thing. Like I said, I could have kept you here all day with our items. So please, if you want to learn more, please come to the last presentation we have of this year at Kettle Moraine. Batteries. I'm going to open it up. On the inside, I have a little baggie of cocaine. It's salt. A little baggie of cocaine tucked in a battery. This is crazy. But I've opened your eyes to some things that our kids are doing. Even coworkers. Think of coworkers that you're worried about. Adults, not necessarily just children. All these devices are out there so that kids or people can hide their drugs or alcohol. But you are more aware now of what to look for. So I'm going to pass it on to Katie, who's going to talk about signs and symptoms, and then we will talk about whatever. Thank you. All right, bye. I'm ready to keep going.
Yeah, she gets really excited, as you can tell. This is, again, just a snapshot of what we have in our bedroom. We have probably, when we started, we probably had 20, 30 red flags. I think we probably have 50 now. I mean, drug trends are changing constantly. Kids are getting more sneaky. New things are coming out on the market. So this is constantly evolving. And I also just want to let you know, and I don't know if Sandy mentioned, but when we put our bedroom together, we are constantly consulting with school officials, law enforcement. And Sandy, being the mother of a recovering heroin addict, we also have a prevention specialist who works on our team who's a recovering addict herself. So she has helped us put together this room. So it's constantly, as you can imagine, it's constantly evolving. But one of the things that we do like to do when we do our bedroom presentation and our professional development presentation is we like to go over the signs and symptoms of drug use because we get those questions all the time. And when we do this presentation for parents, we do have a handbook that they can refer to that has that information in it. They have resources of where to go. So those are some of the things that we like to do. And again, this is very condensed. It's an hour-and-a-half presentation. So I'm going to go through this quickly. After we're done, you're going to have an opportunity to come up here and ask us questions. You can look at the items, touch them, feel them, look at them closely yourself.
Can I just interrupt
Yeah.
for just a second? So I'm just going to, as you are listening to Katie's part, so Tyler just didn't become a heroin addict. He started in 6th grade with alcohol, 6th grade. Average grade of first use in the United States is, throw me a number, a grade. Average grade of first use in the United States of America? Fourth grade. So he started 6th grade with alcohol, 7th grade with marijuana, prescription pills by 8th, 9th, and a heroin addict by 17 years old. The last time we got him into treatment, he was an 80-pound, full-blown heroin addict. Think about that while you're seeing these. I did not know any of these signs or symptoms.
So we need to talk about alcohol because we are the state of Wisconsin. Everything we do revolves around alcohol. 12 of the drunkest cities are right here in Wisconsin. So as you can see, first drug use among kids and 12th graders is alcohol. And how are kids concealing it? What are they doing it? They're soaking it in gummy bears. They're also soaking it, we've heard they're soaking tampons and inserting it that way. That way it goes right to the bloodstream.
Both male and female.
Great. So obviously these are some of the signs of use. I'm not going to go through all of these, you can see them for yourselves. But this is why we have 21 years of age is our legal drinking age, because you can see the areas of development. The lighter areas are the areas of our brain that are not developed. So by age 20, they're a little bit more developed. I mean, this age actually keeps getting older and older. I think right now, they're saying that the brain is not fully developed until about age 26. So
27 for male.
Yeah. And if you are parents, you know that because your insurance rates are a little bit higher when you have a male. Those who drink before the age of 14 have a 40% chance of becoming addicted. So again, that's why we need to have that older. We need to delay that first time of use as long as we can. Vaping, we need to talk about vaping because this is really, really prevalent among high school students. This is actually one of the things that we're hearing the most from the schools that we work with. They're confiscating the vape pens and the different types of pens, and we have some of them here that we can show you. But this is actually something that is becoming, schools are changing their policies because of this, because it's becoming so prevalent. So what are kids vaping? They're vaping nicotine, the juices. We have a little Do you want to hold up the juice, the nicotine juice? They're vaping marijuana. They're vaping dabs. Do any of you know what dabs are? Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about dabs. So this is becoming very prevalent, and again, we don't know what chemicals are in those juices. Sometimes they'll sell them as 0% nicotine, but there is actually nicotine in there. And vaping, we're going to see this because vaping is something that's not regulated. And just like smoking was very popular back in the 50s and 60s and everybody was doing it, but then 30 years later they found out how dangerous tobacco was. So we're fearful that this is going to be the same thing with vaping. And right now we're not sure of what the dangers are, but they are finding the toxic chemicals in the urine and the bloodstream. So we have no idea what the long-term effects of this is going to be on our kids. And even in states where this came from California, I believe, that they found that there's 10 chemicals in the vape of the nicotine of these vape juices that can cause cancer. So these are just different types of vape pens that you'll see. I don't know if any of you have visited Brookfield Square lately, but there's actually a vaping kiosk right across from American Eagle, so convenient, right, where our kids are going shopping. And I walked by it the other day and I'm like, wow, it's really colorful. I mean, it really draws your attention. So these things are really marketed towards our kids. They're fun, they're pretty. They come in all kinds of different flavors. We have creme brulee, we have strawberry. The one right here on the left is actually a Juul, and these are things that are being confiscated on a daily basis at the high schools.
So this is what a Juul looks like, and actually Katie had a teacher. It plugs in just like this. It sits like this. The teacher, I don't know if everybody can see it. Needs to be charged.
There's a charging unit, and it actually looks like a flash drive.
That's what the teacher thought it was, a flash drive.
Let me just take that apart.
Yep. So this is as simple as it can be.
So the cartridge, this is the cartridge that has the juices in it. And actually, so they're usually sold in a pack of 4. So that little cartridge actually has enough nicotine in it. So it's actually like smoking an entire pack of cigarettes, that little cartridge. So we have kids that we work with who will smoke an entire pack of these. And so that's a lot of nicotine that they're being exposed to.
They have games. Who can smoke the most? How fast can you smoke a, what are they called, pods? How fast? I mean, they're having games with this juuling. How would you feel about cigarettes? When Katie mentioned the kiosk with all the vaping stuff right side of American Eagle, wouldn't you as a parent make a big stand if that was all cigarettes? We're becoming acceptable to this juuling because we don't think it is as bad as cigarettes. It is just as bad. Sorry.
One of the things, no, I don't have long sleeves on, but one of the things the way that the kids are concealing it in school is that they're sticking it in their sleeves of their shirts or their...
Girls will put it in there.
Might put it in their bra.
Yep.
But yeah, that's how they're sneaking it into school. So there's, again, different types of vape pens. I'm just going to go through this really quickly. This is a type of vape pen that they can vape the marijuana leaves directly. So we don't have one of those here with us, but we have different types that you can look at. This is one that they use for the dabs, which the dabs are actually, what they do is they take the marijuana, leafy plant, and they extract the THC from it, and what it forms into this little gooey, waxy dab. It kind of looks like earwax. And the THC in that dab is about 80 to 90%. So it's extremely, extremely potent.
So that's what it looks like.
That's what a dab looks like.
And these are the containers. I actually thought these were really cute when Ashley, my daughter, bought these. They actually put the dabs, they're little silicone jars. They come in all these cute colors because it doesn't stick. So if you would actually see something like that, it's not just a little cute container. It is actually for dabs.
So we talked a little bit about marijuana. This is what marijuana looks like. And if you've ever smelled it, it's stinky. It smells like skunk. Some signs of marijuana use: bloodshot eyes, sleepy, lethargic, lack of coordination, confusion, lack of focus. Usually if kids are using marijuana for a long period of time, there's going to be a drop in grades, not really interested in their activities that they used to be interested in. This comes from even a state, this is Colorado, a state where marijuana is legal. They're still saying that marijuana can be addictive. Right now we have, in the US, we have more kids in treatment for marijuana dependence than any other drug.
So a lot of times parents will say, so how do I even explain this to my kids? How do I beat them with the facts that I know about versus their facts? If you've ever talked to a teenager about marijuana, they try to win all the time, correct? I don't know if any of you have had that experience. It's not very nice. This is what I say as a parent: don't even go there. 0 tolerance in my household. You can do whatever you want when you're 18, 21 years old. Grow your pot leaves in Colorado. I don't care. 0 tolerance in my house. They will try to out-Google you, out-myth you, outsmart you, out whatever. Don't even go down that battle. You'll never win it. So just say 0 tolerance in my home.
So just a really quick science lesson. It's really, really simple because I don't quite understand how it all works either. But we got this simple explanation from Dr. Brian Finland, who's a renowned child psychologist in the area. And he does a really good job. I don't know if you've ever heard him speak. He's actually one of our speakers for the Playgrounds to Pills program. He does a really great job of taking complex information like brain development and explaining it in terms that you and I can understand. So this was actually one of his explanations about how marijuana reacts in the brain. So these are neurons in your brain. They're sending sending messages and receiving messages to one another. And what happens when we smoke marijuana? Alcohol, for example, is water soluble. So we drink it, it goes through our system. Marijuana is not. THC, I should say, is not. So it's not water soluble, so it sticks to our blood. And what it does is it attracts, it's like a magnet, it attracts to the myelin sheath in our neurons. And what happens is when we smoke, we get this speckling of THC that are sticking to our myelin sheath. So if we smoke, this is what happens. And then about 2 weeks, a chemical comes in our brain and comes and cleans it all away. So we're all good. So we're back to normal. But what happens is that these will keep building on the myelin sheath in our neurons. And they keep building and keep building the more we smoke. And we can get up to about 400 layers of these. And so when we get all these layers of THC on our neurons, what's going to happen? That's why we have that slowness, that lethargic, because the messages are not able to get through all of those layers. So once somebody gets to about 400 layers of THC on their neurons, they're no longer receiving the messages. And then what happens? It's no longer, it's kind of a plateau. That drug is no longer giving them the same effect. So then what happens? They move on to another drug. And in order to, these layers actually can be removed, but it will take 2 years. 2 years. 2 years of complete sobriety for these layers to go away.
Another thing is that if they are smoking pot with these layers, if they are on ADHD medication, if they are on ADHD medication, depression medication, anxiety medication, it does not go through the layers.
So we have to talk about prescription pills as well.
So there are 3 different, just so not used to this. Okay, there are 3 different prescription pills. There's your narcotics, your central nervous system, and your stimulants. So 3 different kinds, right? The narcotics are your Vicodin. Your narcotics are your opiates. And they make you slow. They're a depressant. They slow everything down. What are some of the signs of it? That they're nodding off. I remember that with Tyler. He would always nod off on us. They look like regular pills. They have problems with coordination. They're just slow. Something is off with them. That's how you can tell. It's just not right. Central nervous systems, we actually see this kind of coming back in our kids because they're a little scared of our opiates because they have been laced with fentanyl. There's been fake Xanax, or there's been fake opiates out there. They've been laced with all different things that they're getting scared of it, but they're not scared of our Xanax. They're not scared of our benzos. They're not scared of our Valium. So they are starting to take that. The scary thing is that now they've introduced our drug dealers have introduced fake Xanax bars. We actually just lost a lacrosse. He was a freshman in lacrosse a year ago. He was 19 years old. He lost his life because his roommate said, here, take a Xanax. He was having a test the next day. It was, when they did the toxicology, it was equivalent to 90 actual Xanaxes that he took. He overdosed on them. So our drug dealers are buying presses to make
I don't know
pills.
if you can see it. There is actually a picture
The
of
fake
the real
Xanax.
Xanax and
Yep.
the fake one.
And think about it. What have we done all of our lives with kids? Here, take this pill, it's going to make you feel better. They have a good feeling about pills. They have a good feeling about medication because that's what we've told them. It will make you feel better. And then our stimulants. Our Adderall, believe it or not, those are one of the #1 drugs that are being sold in our schools. Kids that have Adderall, please make sure that you count their Adderall, keep their Adderall away because they can make quite a bit of money on their own medication. If you drug test, some parents say, well, I'm going to drug test, and then I'm like, great, if Adderall shows up, it's supposed to. So you actually know that they are actually taking their medication. One of the biggest things I wish I had have known during Tyler's use is the eyes. Eyes are going to tell you. I don't have many pictures of Tyler in his grasp of addiction, but the ones that I do, I went back and his eyes were pinpricks, tiny, and they did not change from light to dark. So look at people's eyes, what the normal, and if they come back huge, they're on a stimulant, they're on an upper, and they don't react from light to dark. If they are on an opiate, a downer, they're tiny pinpricks. And then heroin. Once again, the same signs as opiates. The smaller pupils, they're slow, they're nodding off, all those different things. If you find a spoon in a car, in a house, in a desk, that shouldn't be there, that's a red flag. If the spoon comes back looking like this in your drawer or is burnt, that is a red flag. I've got to be honest, with Tyler, when he was passed out, my husband and I would go search his body. And I remember, that sounds horrible, but we would go in between his toes, his fingers, his legs, his arms, and we never saw track marks. So I remember sitting there going, thank God, he's not on heroin. Never did I realize that he snorted his entire time of using. I never saw this. He snorted his entire time. I saw the rolled bills, the cut up straws. I saw things like that. I thought I was looking for this.
And we're just going to end when we do our wake-up call. And again, this is really a condensed version. So I really encourage you, if you want more information, to have us come out for a lunch and learn, or also come out to Kettle Moraine, see our entire wake-up call presentation. But one of the things that when we do the presentations for schools and communities, we really like to end on a positive note, because this is really overwhelming for people, and especially if they've never been exposed to it before, if they haven't seen this information. It can be very overwhelming. It can be shocking for parents, especially parents of younger kids. So we like to end on a positive note, just reinforcing what we're doing at home and to continue to have those conversations with your kids. So one of the things that I like to do is I like to talk about proactive parenting at the end of our presentation. And just really briefly, I know we're running out of time, I'm just going to go through what I like to tell parents.
And Katie is a mother of four children.
I have 4 children, 3 of them are teenagers, so I actually have one child that still loves me. because every day there's somebody in my house who does not like me very much. And especially because of the kind of work I do. So I'm always in their business, as you can imagine. I'm a very nosy parent, and I believe that's our right and our responsibility as a parent. So one of the things that I like to tell parents is that there's research that shows that there's things that we can be doing as parents in our home that we can reduce the chances that our kids are going to use substances. Okay, there's no silver bullet. This isn't rocket science, but it's something that we got to keep working on. We got to keep reinforcing ourselves. We got to stay strong. We got to stick together. We got to help each other out, support one another. One of the things is we got to try to have a positive relationship with our teenagers, which isn't always easy to do with teenagers because they're constantly pushing, pulling, testing us, challenging us. So I encourage you to have a positive relationship with your kids, and that might mean that you need to spend some quality, carve out some special one-on-one time with them. Time when you don't have distractions from other things, other commitments, other children. I know with my daughter, I have 4 daughters, and for me, it's just going on a special date, doing something that they like to do, because those are the times when those conversations about relationships and drugs and alcohol and sex and school and all those things that are really bothering them, they just naturally evolve, because those conversations we can't force those conversations on our kids. We can't lecture them. That brings me to another point, is sometimes as parents we get so caught up in nagging, and we're hearing ourselves nagging and constantly lecturing them, that all they're hearing is that Charlie Brown noise. So they're not really hearing what we're telling them, so they're blocking us out. So in order for them to really hear us and to believe what we're saying to them, they need to hear 5 positive comments to every 1 negative. And in reality, on the average parents of teenagers, we make 1 positive for every 10 corrections or criticisms that we give them. So again, another reminder, celebrate small victories. Praise them for making good decisions, whatever that may be. It may be very small, might be very minor, but they need to get that praise. They're constantly in a state of self-doubt as teenagers, so we constantly have to remind ourselves of that. We need to communicate clear expectations with our kids regarding drugs and alcohol, regarding curfews, regarding phone use. They need to understand what our expectations are as parents, and they also need to understand what the consequences are if they don't meet those expectations. Those need to be laid out for our kids. And we need to set boundaries. They want boundaries. They're going to test the boundaries, but they need to have boundaries. Some of those expectations are non-negotiable, like drug and alcohol use. Like Sandy said, 0 tolerance. Gotta make sure that we're consistent. I admit this is where I fall short as a parent, is it's really tough to be consistent and follow through. But if we don't, our kids are going to learn that we don't mean what we say, and they're going to continue to get away with things. It's really important to be consistent and follow through with our consequences. And also, in addition to that, we tend to be very reactive as parents. So when they do something that makes us upset, or they're not following our rules, or they break our rules, or they don't meet our expectations, we tend to react, we get angry, we make empty threats, things that we can't follow through on. So I would just encourage you, as hard as it may be, to remind yourselves to remain calm when we're dealing with our teenagers. Give yourself some time to think about what an appropriate consequence would be. Give yourself some time to go talk with your spouse, cool off, maybe a few minutes, it may be an entire day, whatever you need to do.
That's a great life lesson, right? We've been doing that in all aspects of our life, giving it that 5 minutes. My husband used to say to my son Tyler, every time he did something wrong, my husband was the angry, yelling one. That's it. You're grounded for the whatever he chose to do, and we never followed through. So Tyler said, if Tyler was standing here right now, he'd say, if you make a consequence, follow through so that your children know you're going to follow through on it. And Katie, I love what you always say. A consequence is not a consequence. It's a commitment to your child that you're their parent and you're going to follow through for their health and safety. Think of it a different way. We as parents are scared to set consequences. Well, if I take their phone away, if I do this, they're not going to be able to live. Right? We have to start thinking, what can we do? Sorry.
And as parents, I always encourage parents to model good decision making, whether it's when it relates to alcohol or whether it relates to phone use or how we treat one another. We just need to model good decision making. Because remember, our kids are constantly watching us, and what we say and what we do is so much more important than what we say. And we need to remember, what message are we sending them? Like Sandy said, we work with schools to say, yeah, we find these containers under the parent section at the football games. What message does that send to our kids? And another thing is, how do we cope with stress? How do we manage our stress? So we need to model healthy outlets for dealing with stress. Exercise, take a walk, do not resort to substances. And Sandy had talked about following our directions on our prescription medications. There's drop-box locations all over. Most of the local police stations have a drop-box, so I would encourage you to get rid of unused medications on a regular basis. Also to advocate for your own pain management. And Steve, you were telling us a little bit earlier that's something that you do. And it's really important because for your kids, there's no reason that we work with a medical doctor who says there's really no reason that a child needs to be prescribed a narcotic when 2 Tylenol and 4 Advil taken together can provide the same relief as 1 oxycodone. We also encourage parents to understand that there are certain risk factors that could increase their child's risk for developing a substance abuse problem. So just to be aware of that, family history increases the risk by 40%. So these are some of the other things. Tyler actually fell into all 4 of these categories. So he was at that much more at risk for developing a problem. But also keep in mind that children raised in the same home, same parents, same value system, like Tyler and Ashley. Ashley is Sandy's daughter. She's never used substances. So she went down one path, Tyler took a totally different path. We always encourage our parents, know who your kids are hanging out with, but even more important, who are the parents of those kids? Get to know them. Get to understand what their household rules are. What are their value systems? Do they align with yours? And we always say to trust your instincts as a parent. You know your child best. And if you feel that there's somebody who's having a bad influence on your kid, make sure that you intervene and you do something about it. I love what Sandy says. She always says trust but verify, right? We gotta allow our teenagers freedoms, but we also want to just make sure. We want to follow up. We want to make sure that they're doing the things that they say that they're doing. So we need to be monitoring their cell phones, and we need to be putting limits on cell phone use and things like that. But also on a regular basis, it's fine. It's your right responsibility as a parent to be checking their backpacks, checking their bedrooms. I've talked to so many parents who have told me, I don't go into their bedroom. Why not? Why not? I always like to encourage parents that despite the messages that your kids are saying to you, the attitudes that they're giving you, you're still the biggest influence on their life. So kids who hear this information, who have these conversations with their kids are going to be 50% less likely to use substances because they're getting the information directly from their parents. And I always tell people none of us are immune to this. This could be any one of us. Sandy didn't think it would happen to her and her family, but it did. We're all at risk. Parenting is risky. But remember, there's no silver bullet, but we are here to help. There's a ton of resources in our community that are here for you. We are a resource for parents, so I encourage you, if you want to have us come out, talk to your employees, if you want us to come out to your school, please contact us. This is our information. We have our information on the table as you leave. We're here to answer any questions you have. We thank you so very much for having us this morning. This has been very enlightening for us as well, and we appreciate your time and your attention. Thank you.
Thank you.